Hello everyone and welcome back to Donut Like, Donut Read. I'm Adam, at your service, and with me today we have Joaquin.
What is up?
John.
Greetings, normies.
And Luna.
Hello.
And today we're reading more Creepypasta from just Creepypasta's a compilation on Creepypasta Ruin Your Childhood. You can find it on Wattpad.
Yep, and more, I got another sampler for you. Now we found out that this author, Chucky Freak, did not write these stories by himself. He just copy and pasted these into his Wattpad and published it as a story, I guess as a way to archive his favorite creepypastas. But, you know, they're all shit.
Yeah.
They have some real great taste.
They have some classic ones in here, like Cupcakes and Pokemon Black and things like that, if you're into
ones
that.
that you
Word
read
Suicide.
Last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so?
Also, you're first, so what you got?
I got one from one of my favorite cartoons growing up, Recess. It's called Recess, an episode gone horribly wrong.
Oh, no.
Classic, find the VHS and has a creepy episode on it that somehow made it past production. So
Of the class. I wonder who the first person to do that was. Like, there's got to be a patient zero.
that is a good question, because I feel like most creepypastas kind of boil down to this. I found an episode on a VHS tape that no one else has.
Yeah,
Maybe
someone's
it's just
always
all,
selling it at their yard sale.
Glad
Maybe
I got
it's
that
all
off my hands.
Maybe it's all just one dude looking out, like, he's dedicated his life to finding creepy lost episodes.
Yeah,
Well, this
somehow
was
every single show that gets produced has a lost episode, and they somehow keep getting lost.
Well, to keep the entire show from being cursed, you got to make, like, one VHS tape to hold all the curses in, to keep the
mandatory.
demons from getting into the show.
It's a triage situation.
It's kind of like when you leave a little thing of fruit out nearby for the wasps to come near, so they don't bother you specifically because you're too busy focused on the little tin of juice you put like 30 feet away.
It's like that one species. It's like that one species of tree that that drinks salt water and sends all the salt to one leaf and drops that leaf.
Yeah, it's like that.
All right.
Alrighty. Okay.
So let's get reading. I do not know how the tape came into my possession. All I know is that I found it in one of my drawers while I was clearing them out, in preparation for moving to a new house. It was a VHS tape with a plain white label, Recess, R1109 new / return to C, was written on it in a thin black permanent marker.
Written on a black marker that just coincidentally nearby?
Yeah, I must have just taped it to it. I don't know. Whoever wrote it had very poor penmanship. It was barely legible. Oh, so my doctor wrote it. Okay.
Doctor riff.
Yep. Classic. Like anyone who had watched Recess as a child, nostalgia overcame me. I placed the tape in my old VCR and pressed play.
Why did nostalgia overcome you? You haven't even put in the tape yet. You're just looking
just
at
saw
the
Looking
tape.
at the tape.
I mean, honestly, if I saw a Recess VHS, I'd probably get a warm, fuzzy feeling inside, too.
If it had
I
like a
love Recess,
picture of
so.
it on it, but if it's just a blank VHS tape with some writing on it.
I mean, maybe he's used to finding blank VHS tapes with cryptic writing all over his house. You don't know his life. Maybe that is nostalgic.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It began with a blue screen. It stayed like that for a few minutes, and then started flashing red. 30 seconds later, it cut to black. Well, that was a terrible episode. Thinking that the tape was wrecked, I went over to press eject. Before I reached the button, the Recess opening started, albeit with really poor compression quality. The video was blurry and the audio was muddy, but I kept watching to see if anything weird would happen.
Well, what's happening already is pretty weird, you know.
Yeah.
But I
I
don't know.
Do they use the word muddy to describe audio? Is that a thing?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, just
yeah.
making sure.
Like, muddy
Sounds
audio
right.
is how my my microphone audio sounded when I was using that other headphone set for the calls, the one that I described sounding like my microphone was made of mashed potatoes.
Okay. This makes sense. Mashed potatoes are delicious. I wish I sounded like mashed potatoes. The episode The Rules started and began playing out like the television broadcast version. Since the previous owner apparently took poor care of this tape, the vertical hold became progressively worse as it went on. Another thing that was off was the voice acting. The voices seemed to randomly fluctuate in quality, even in the middle of a sentence. For example, in one sentence, Gus would sound like himself, and the next he would sound like the voice actor really did not want to be there.
That sounds great. That sounds like unintentional comedy gold right there.
Yeah, I kind of would dig that if that was what my TV shows were like.
I mean, they're forcing these actors to make this one episode, and then it's like, wait, why am I doing this? If you told me we have like no intention of like airing this like on TV or putting this in like the DVDs, what's the point of this if no one's gonna see it?
Well, because this one you can say fuck if you want. We're never gonna broadcast this. You can say whatever.
Yeah, but
no,
then they would sound like they wanted to be there.
True. We're not going to broadcast this, but you can't say fuck.
Yeah, that takes all the fun out of it.
I would honestly, side tangent, I would pay all the money I have, and all the money I ever will have, to see a dub of My Hero Academia, where it's all just Bakugo's voice.
Why would you pay money for that? That sounds confusing.
It sounds amazing, though. I need to see that.
The animation was technically sound, with the exception of some of the facial expressions. In certain scenes, the main characters' faces did not match what the emotions they were trying to convey. In these peculiar scenes, TJ looked angry, Vince looked tired, Spinelli looked anxious, Gretchen looked depressed, Mikey looked high, complete with bloodshot eyes, and Gus looked as if he genuinely hated everyone around him. Very in character. A couple of minutes in, the episode completely jumped the tracks and went insane. At the
traditional... Oh, go on, sorry.
No, what were you saying?
Nothing, just traditional, I said shenanigans. This is when the weird stuff happens in the creepypastas.
Exactly, went insane. At the scene where Vince was ordered to go into the dumpster and find a piece of fruit, it was taking him longer to find it than it should have. Then the sound of a garbage truck pulling up could be heard.
Guys?
Gus said. Everyone turned and saw the garbage truck. Everyone except TJ ran. TJ tried to help Vince get out, but eventually failed and ran away. Wow, what a prick. The garbage truck picked up the dumpster and emptied its contents, including Vince, and began to crush them.
Then the door opened, and it was Danny, and then it was...
I'm not a fan of this. This is disgusting. This is terrible. This is unsettling. How dare they slander the garbage professionals? A garbage professional would never allow a child to get stuck in the dumpster. They are very vigilant. They pay attention. This is slandering our public servants, and this is disgusting.
I think I know Go on. I think I know what's up, Luna. When I scroll down a bit, and I see that like Danny DeVito as the trash man was there.
Oh no!
From Always Sunny. So yeah, I think I figured it out. It's not an actual trash man, just Danny DeVito in a wrestling costume.
I would pay money for that. Vince's screams in this scene sounded incredibly genuine, like the person doing his voice was actually being crushed to death.
Enforced method acting.
How does the author know what that sounds like? I feel like they got some secrets.
He's seen some things. There was an incident back in, 10th grade with a hydraulic press.
Yeah. They're using that machine from, fuck, I can't remember. It's from SCP. The one where it crushes your legs.
That's just that's not an SCP. That's just like that's just a hydraulic press.
So we can only assume...
does this machine specifically only press your legs only, or?
Hold on.
Well,
just keep moving.
So, are we to assume they literally killed the voice actor then?
Oh, femur
if it
breaker.
sounded legitimate.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. It's got it.
This whole time, everyone was looking in shock. When the screaming ceased, Randall began crying for a moment and ran off yelling, "Miss Finster! Miss Finster!" like he always did. Everyone else started crying. The screen faded to black. So, 30 seconds later, the scene abruptly cut to TJ walking home with his hands over his eyes. There was no sound at all for this part. The animation had really dropped in quality, like it was done by someone in their basement as opposed to a professional animation studio. It focused on TJ walking down a long road for a couple of minutes, with the vertical hold getting worse the whole time. So I think this does lend credence to the theory that it said it's done in someone's basement. I guess they were really forced to do this. There wasn't any benefit to it.
Animators and of all shapes and sizes need a union.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you see what happened in, like... Wasn't, like, Dragon Ball Super, they were all, like, being forced to work overtime, and that's why a lot of the quality was bad, because they just were, like, no time to do
and
these
also
things.
why MCU movies look bad, because they're using so much. The reason why they're using as much CGI, it's because CGI animators don't have a union, and and like special effects and like wigs and like practical effects, they have a union. So that's why they've been leaning so heavily on CGI, and why their recent stuff looks like garbage.
I literally heard about that from Vosh like a few weeks, from like 2 days ago or something.
Enjoyed making that scene in She-Hulk?
Which scene?
The twerking one?
Yeah.
Oh, that one. Oh, probably not. No, probably not. Definitely not.
What was the point of that?
I never saw it. I don't know.
It was an after credit. It was like a goofy after credit scene to be at the end. Like it wasn't supposed to be taken seriously.
Why are people upset about that if it's an after credit scene?
Because they're getting mad. Because She-Hulk makes people irrationally angry. It's very funny.
I heard the show wasn't good, but that's
if it's an after credit scene, then that's a different thing.
I have complicated thoughts on the show, but we're wasting too much time on She-Hulk.
Yeah, no more She-Hulk here. After a while, it cut to TJ lying in bed, crying quietly. It was quite genuine too. I could really hear the pain in his voice. That's called acting.
What they did was they actually caused a tragic event to happen to TJ, and then they just kind of bugged his room.
Yeah,
if you listen in the background, you can actually hear the director licking the tears off the actors' faces. Yes, the tears of unfathomable sadness, like in South Park.
Oh, jeez. Rather than cutting to black after this scene ended, it showed the remaining 5 students walking. There's Vince is dead. So is Vince there's 5 other kids other than TJ. So I guess Vince is just alive again.
She's just crying.
Back.
TJ's crying, but the other 4... basically, they're walking to school in the rain. None of them cared about the rain. Okay, I guess he was back in that then. I don't know. In addition to some cuts and bruises, Mikey looked even more bloated than usual. Gretchen's glasses were shattered, Spinelli's hair was dirty and all over the place. Gus was wearing a black sweatshirt as opposed to his usual getup. TJ's hat was on with the bill facing forwards. Fucking blasphemy. They were...
Freaking terrible.
What do you say? Oh, yeah. They all were incredibly depressed. The vertical hold was so bad at this point, I could barely tell what was going on. It looked like the remaining children were just sitting in class, occasionally cutting to an empty desk. Finally, the vertical hold calmed down to the point where I could see. The depressing, mundane atmosphere went on until Gus pulled out a pen. He rammed it through his eye. TJ tried to stop him, but Gus ended up bleeding out until he fell over dead. Blood continuously dripped down his desk and pooled onto the floor. Nobody else seemed to care.
Are they just describing the plot of another? Like the one light novel / anime where like there's a curse that kills like the entire like class?
I don't know.
In like accidental ways.
I don't know. Maybe I just immediately thought this sounds like Death Note shit right here. People just randomly killing themselves out of nowhere.
That's actually sort of what happens. One dude literally kills himself in front of his entire class.
All right.
In the show.
Everyone went to lunch after that class. Mikey engorged himself on whatever he could find until eventually he grabbed his chest and rolled around on the floor screaming. Ultimately, his eyes rolled back in his head. He twitched once and then stopped moving. TJ barely tried to help this time. Nevertheless, he still became more depressed after Mikey died.
That's what happens when you eat bricks.
Pretty much. The scene cut to the playground again. TJ and Spinelli were kicking a can back and forth, both expressing minimal interest in what they were doing. They looked as if they were on the verge of killing themselves. How do you look like that? Like,
you've never seen a college student. I can understand. I can understand the look.
Can confirm. Yeah. Can confirm.
It's what I look like all the time.
I guess I kind of was like that in grad school, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Gretchen silently walked past them and began climbing up Old Rusty. For context, that's the playground structure. When she was at the top, she got ready to jump off. What was especially strange was that instead of looking depressed, the kids at the playground, with exception of TJ and Spinelli, were shouting angrily at Gretchen. Most of them were chanting, "Do it! Jump!" or something similar. Randall called Miss Finster, and even she came over and joined in the chanting.
What?
Yikes, this is dark. "We gotta stop her!" yelled TJ, and he and Spinelli ran over and climbed to the top. TJ tried to get Spinelli to help pull Gretchen to safety inside of the platform at the top of Old Rusty. Instead, however, Spinelli simply glanced at him with a pained facial expression. She then stood up next to Gretchen, pulled a rope out of her pocket, and tied their ankles together. What? Okay.
What's a rope in their pocket?
I don't know. The one student in class that's really into like mountain climbing.
You know, Spinelli's kind of a tomboy, so maybe that's why.
Yeah. I forgot about her. She has like a beanie on and shoot, and like a goth jacket. Yeah, I'd expect her to have a rope somewhere on her person.
Yeah, her having a rope almost makes sense, but it's a stretch. TJ begged and pleaded to them, "Don't do it! Come back inside!" Gretchen and Spinelli looked at each other, closed their eyes, and jumped off. They splattered into bloody bits when they hit the asphalt. Wow, that's... How high is Old Rusty again? What?
No, it's fine. It's like, it's like that's just his drops.
Okay. TJ leaned onto a bar and began loudly sobbing. The crowd below was becoming angrier still despite being covered in blood of Gretchen and Spinelli. The crowd began screaming, "Jump, fucker! Do it! Censored! Come on, you little bitch!" and other phrases to that effect. TJ just curled up and covered his face.
But they already jumped.
The bell rang. What do you say?
They already jumped, right?
No, Spinelli and Gretchen jumped. TJ didn't.
Why am I imagining the yelling people just being filthy frank?
Because it makes it funnier in your mind?
Yeah.
Helps you, it's the copium?
Yeah. Do it! Do it, motherfuckers! Welcome to the rice fields!
So, how high is this building? Like, how many stories is the school building?
Yeah, from my limited experience with the franchise, I'm pretty sure it's like 3 to 4 stories tall.
It's high enough.
Big, but
I don't think
not splattered into bits big.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think anyone, if they would jump on top of like a 3-story building, they would like explode.
You ever play Fallout 3?
Or
I just played Skyrim. Does that count?
There's a perk in Fallout that when you kill somebody, they just explode, even if you don't really do anything that makes them explode. So I assume the author had that turned on for the story.
Oh, yes, of
Maybe
course.
they had, like, suicide bomb vests or something.
Maybe. TJ just curled up and covered his face when the bell rang. Everyone but TJ went inside. The screen was black for several minutes. After a few moments of fast-forwarding to see if there was anything else, the scene faded in to TJ sitting on the edge of his bed crying. There was an ambient sound of what I recognized as a tornado off in the distance, though outside the window everything appeared normal. Is he got to get Wizard of Oz then?
Wait. Like, how does everything else appear normal besides the fact that there's a tornado outside?
It just looks normal, but you hear a tornado. The tornado is a sound, which I never thought of tornado ambience music. I'm gonna have to look that up later.
Welcome to another ASMR episode of DLDR. Today's sound is tornado sounds.
Yeah, I mean, editor,
I
if you could put
record it
some
live. Bunty could probably record us something like that. She lives in the Midwest. We could probably like, hey, there's the tornado. Could you get some background ambience?
I was gonna say, editor, if you have time, put some ambient tornado music in here, just for the effects.
Tornado music?
Tornado music. I don't know, I guess, you know what I mean.
Don't think that's a thing.
Nah, it surely is.
The Death Note musical has a song about a hurricane, so
We could just,
it's an actual thing.
Perform it a cappella right now.
Once they feel the power of it. Oh.
Beautiful.
10 out of 10.
Throughout this scene, the tornado sound got louder, and TJ's crying got more pained. Eventually, the tornado sound stopped. TJ lifted up a handgun from under his pillow, aimed at his temple, and closed his eyes. The fuck?
Wait, did the gun close his eyes?
I guess. Because you don't
want to see this.
Yeah, pretty much. After one more tear slipped out, he pulled the trigger. Photorealistic blood and brain splattered all over the bed and wall behind him. But this is a cartoon, so like, it was realistic brain chunks then? That's weird.
It's like someone getting shot in Toontown.
Pretty much. The scene held on TJ's corpse for a few more seconds until the tape abruptly cut to black. I like to hope
that I hope when his body hit the floor, he was in that the Family Guy death pose.
Yeah.
Can we have that up for reference, pretty please?
Which one?
The Family Guy death pose.
Okay.
There's a real specific one. Yeah, there's one. You'll know it.
You're gonna have to tell me.
I heard what sounded like a telephone dialing.
I saw it. I'll show it to y'all.
Are you putting it up right now? I don't even aware what Luna was talking about either.
I'll put it in.
Oh. I don't know if it's as iconic as Yamcha though.
Oh my god, we have this versus Yamcha. Who will win?
I don't know why, but when you said death pose, I was thinking of that scene where Peter watched The Ring, and then it cuts to him on the floor, and he just has his mouth open. If you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know exactly, but I'm sure if you posted, I'd recognize it. So after he saw the tape stop completely, I sold that damn thing on eBay. I never wanted to see it again. Maybe the guy who bought it will upload it to YouTube or something, but I did not want to watch it a second time to capture the footage.
Why the hell would you subject another human being to this?
Hey, this is weird. Hey, I found this really weird episode of Recess. It was really weird and insane. I want you to check it out.
As soon as he sold it on eBay, the first thing he said was, "Glad that's off of my hands."
Do you think that other guy also wrote a creepypasta about his experience?
Yeah, it's like some doofus on eBay was selling this lost episode. I'm like, whatever.
It's like a creepypasta version of The Ring.
One time was all I needed to get every detail. I do not know if the Recess production crew made this as some sort of sick joke, or if it was just made by some guy with too much time on his hands, but I do not give a damn anymore.
A lot of Creepypasta Lost episodes, they use these words like at the end. Like, I don't know if like the production crew made this as sort of sick joke. Like, they always use sick joke.
I mean, it's a pretty sick joke.
Yeah, but how do you know if they made it as a joke?
What, do you think it was / serious? You think it was / serious?
He's assuming he doesn't know. He also says, "I do not give a damn anymore. I just do not want to see it again. I will never be able to watch Recess the same way again." Empathize with that. I felt that way after reading Dipper Goes to Taco Bell. So, who's next?
Hold on, there's a couple of comments.
Oh, there is.
I've been doing myself a favor, and I've been just listening to your words because I didn't want to spoil myself. I cannot wait to hear what the fine people at home have to say.
Okay,
comments are pretty...
whatever.
Yeah, nothing funny.
Besides, I want to read Give Them Revenge, his review. I read this not too long ago, and I'm obsessed. The story is sickening, but it makes me feel weird, like I can actually hear the actor's voice in their cries.
Someone needs therapy.
I want to rephrase that.
Said all that needs to be said. Nah, summed it up pretty good.
Okay.
Quite clear.
So I think I'm
right.
next.
You are?
Yep. And
which one are you reading?
Barbie.
Ooh.
Okay, here we go. You all have heard of the Barbie doll. I know you have. This story starts out on a late November evening. My sister was having a birthday party. I snuck upstairs into my sister's room. As every boy, I hate Barbie dolls. Okay, you know...
Not all boys don't hate Barbie. Not all boys hate Barbie, excuse me.
Yeah. So, I started to tear their heads off. I set the Barbies back
What?
where I found them, headless. I went back downstairs.
Are you a sociopath?
Most normal elder brother.
Yeah.
I think this guy's gonna get what's coming to him, though. I really hope so, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Luna, did you ever have a brother where, you know, you had Barbie dolls and whenever you leave your room, your brother would come into your room and just tear the heads off and just leave them like that?
No, but my brother was a younger brother, so no.
This guy just stole the ending to Toy Story 1, where, like, all, like, the toys just rebel against Sid.
Maybe this is Sid. Maybe this is his story.
Maybe Oh god. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Later that night, after the party, my sister went into her room. I heard a bloody scream. Anyone want to perform a bloody scream for us?
Hold on a second. I need some distance. I need some distance. Ah! Was that good?
Sure.
Did you get it?
No, I didn't hear it at all.
Oh,
I
fuck.
didn't hear it.
Let me try again. Take two. Ah!
We heard the end of
some
that.
Of that. I'm sure
He
Audacity
sounds like a
definitely
dinosaur
picked it up.
a little bit.
One more time.
It's fine.
Again.
Audacity picked it up, so...
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh my god. It just barely peaks on the recording. Oh my god.
Whatever, we're gonna compress the recordings anyway, so...
Just... I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah. She runs to my mom with a headless Barbie doll. She blamed me, but I denied. My mom didn't fall for it, so I got sent to my room. It is now 8:30 p.m. Everything is too quiet. My sister has gone to bed and I am alone. In the dark. I try to fall asleep for a half hour. I open my eyes halfway. I see a shadow forming from the light from under my door. I thought it was my sister trying to scare me, so I told her to stop. The light disappeared from under the door, so I went back to sleep. About 5 minutes later, the door opens. A Barbie doll falls down in the doorway. I think it is my sister again. So I throw my pillow and it lands on top of the doll. I close my eyes. A couple seconds later, a pillow hits me in the head. I look and the doll was standing upright in the doorway.
You do a pillow?
It really is just the ending of Toy Story.
It's even a little creepier, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the idea of Tom Hanks as a cowboy speaking to me is freaky enough a concept on its own.
True.
The lights in the hall turn on and I see that Barbie's head is crooked. I sit up. The doll walks to the center of the room. I arm myself with a blanket. What's the blanket gonna do?
Use it like a whip.
Yeah, he wraps it up like a towel.
He dips it in water, it's gonna sting.
Yeah. The Barbie lunges toward me. I open the blanket. When it hits the blanket, I close it.
And now you're just taking stuff from the Coraline book? Now?
This sounds like Small Soldiers, actually.
Yeah, that sounds... Yeah, I was about to say, this guy is just like... This work is just like so derivative of other stuff.
All work is derivative. Getting a bunch of different sources from different places. It's fine.
But this one a bit more so, though.
I mean, everyone knows that every story ever originates from Small Soldiers. So
that's true.
Oh god, yes. Everything else is just a toy.
All the way back to the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Oh god,
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. It is now 9:30 p.m. and I have a rabid Barbie in a blanket. I stay up all night, firmly grasping the blanket-covered doll.
Firmly grasp it.
Firmly grasp it.
Man.
Yeah. When morning struck, I went outside with the doll. My mom was going to work. I said I couldn't sleep and said goodbye. I quickly tossed the Barbie under the tire as she was pulling out. The doll's body exploded and the head flattened. My mom didn't notice. Okay.
Lol.
I'd say it's kind of what would happen the plastic would probably get crunched, right?
I don't know about exploding.
Exploding, maybe it's like a boom, like a little mushroom cloud.
Like a pod, like a balloon.
And the mom doesn't even notice.
Surely there's a video of a Barbie doll in a hydraulic press.
Oh, probably.
I knew my sister was waking up soon, so I cleaned up the mess and tossed it in the trash. I rushed inside and played Fallout 3 on the Xbox 360.
Oh, that's
Full
even
circle,
scarier.
Let's go.
That's even scarier.
True fear.
What were you going to say, Adam?
No, just because I mentioned Fallout 3 in the last story, and I didn't think it was going to be brought up here randomly.
Oh, God. The stories can hear us.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's self-aware.
They're being rewritten in real time to let us know they are sentient. They are trying to communicate with us via terrible tropes.
This is the creepiest pasta of all.
Yeah. That is why I am now afraid of Barbie dolls. I no longer tear their heads off. My sister never noticed. or anyone else. Now she has outgrown Barbies and hates them, like me.
Oh.
That's a terrible creepypasta.
Kind of a flat ending.
Yeah, the ending is paramount in creepypastas. Usually someone ends up dead.
Like,
that's what makes them good.
All this guy did is
some
go off and play...
creepypastas need a happy ending.
No, this isn't a happy ending. Didn't you read he's playing Fallout 3?
I love Fallout 3.
Well, it's scary to us, but not him, which is why he's playing it.
Oh, like how the ending of Shadow over Innsmouth, it's scary to us, the fact that he's accepted his heritage among the Deep Ones, but like not to the main character. It's like that. Well, that was 2 more entries for the Creepypasta sampler. The author of the Chucky Freak, the person we're getting this from, again, he's not the author of these creepypastas. It's just a compilation of like early creepypastas. That being said, well, I don't know if it matters. Just don't be normal. Be normal. Don't be weird. Don't harass Chucky Freak, even though these aren't his stories. To be normal. Be normal. Don't do anything cringe. Don't do anything you're gonna be ashamed of yourself for doing in like 5 years. Anyway, that's it. That's all. Remember, donut likes, donut reads.
Later.
Goodbye.
Peace out.
I will see you in the next life.